Boundaries don't start out there, they start right here, right where you are, who you are, not with other people, not with your time, not with anything else that you think they start with. Boundaries are an energetic thing, just like everything else. And they come across so powerfully on people that you don't even realize they're there. The unspoken power that people have, right? Like you just come across these people and you're like, oh, I am not gonna F with that person. Like, no way, no how. That is one of their boundaries kind of screaming out there. It's just in there so steadfast that you can feel it without even talking about it. It's something that you can energetically perceive. And humans are way, way more energetically tuned than they give themselves credit for. Because technically we're vibration translating machines, right? Like your ears are translating the vibration of my voice box, your eyes are translating the vibration of everything around you, right? Your brain is translating the energy coming into it as thought. Like there's all of this different stuff that we're constantly translating. It's like, or it's our very first language, but most people don't realize it. And so boundaries don't just start out there. They're not just something you express. There's something that's naturally put off from you. They start with our own thoughts. They start with our own emotions. They start with our own behavior. And these are one of those things that if this isn't locked into place, if you don't have boundaries with your own behavior, with your own emotions, with your own thoughts, meaning what you are willing and not willing to do for yourself, what you're willing and what you're not willing to think, and what you're willing and you're not willing to feel. These are all places that we can have boundaries. And I know, you're all going to be like, oh, Tanya, but then you're ignoring you're ignoring stuff or you're bypassing stuff. This isn't about ignoring things or being in denial. Boundaries with an emotion doesn't just look like, oh, I'm refusing to feel that. It's a bad thing. I'm not going to feel that. A boundary with an emotion, a boundary with something is really just, it's letting the emotion come up and knowing that you're not the emotion, knowing that it is something that's allowed to flow through you and you're allowed to pick something else. It's not about denying anything. It's not about giving anything up or bypassing something that comes up, but it's allowing it to be felt and then choosing something else, right? Because I'm not willing to stay there. I'm not willing to engage with it. I'm not willing to make it bigger than what it is. I can acknowledge it without making it a big deal. It's walking that fine line of that balance of knowing what's what. And it takes a little bit of playing around to figure out what it is. Same with our thoughts. When we can be open-minded and closed-minded to the new thoughts, to the new vibration, to the new way of seeing it, to the new way of feeling that thought, to the new way of expressing a thought. We can have boundaries around new thought that are like really just shielding something out versus letting something in. But a boundary with a thought, with an old thought is, you know what? I'm going to do this a little bit differently now. I'm not going to spend my time thinking this. I can pick a better thought. I can pick something different. That's the neuroplasticity that we're allowed. That's part of the game here. That's part of the game of life, is choosing the way we think and the way we feel. And I remember learning this as a young girl, as a young woman. One of my favorite things was about 10 years old. I found a newspaper article that was talking about how you could have your babies in water. And I was like, yes, I'm gonna have babies in water. Like, that just sounds like such a good idea. I remember my mom and my sister, they were telling me about how you can't do that. Your baby's gonna drown if you have it in water. And I remember looking at them just thinking they were I was like, you two have no idea what you're talking about and you have no idea who you are. I had a boundary with that thought where I wouldn't let that come in, where I wouldn't let them influence the way what I knew inside, right? Because I knew it so unequivocally, right? Like there was no other choice for me. And so I had that boundary. It's because I came through with that knowing. Or when I started having boundaries with my own behavior, when I started having boundaries with my own thoughts, my own behaviors, when I promised myself I was going to do something and I started doing it, and when I observed my own thoughts and they were coming up with these nasty thoughts, and I was like, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to think this way anymore. And I started choosing these thoughts that I wanted to have instead of just letting them sit there. I was like, no, I'm doing this differently, and choosing my emotions. All of a sudden, these boundaries that I was producing with my own energy, with my own thought, with my own interaction with myself, I could clearly see the manipulation tactics from other people. I could clearly see where the give and the take in the relationship was completely off balance, and where I deserved more. So it didn't come from me trying to control other people. It wasn't a boundary saying, you can't do this to me, I'm not going to do that. It was a continual being aware of my own self, knowing my thoughts, knowing my emotions, and knowing my own actions as to what I was going to do, what I was going to put up with, and who I wanted to be in that moment. Mix that with following your intuition, and you get like this spice of life where all of a sudden things start to tumble forward for you. Things start to move for you. It's getting to know ourselves, because on this planet, the game here is accepting a thought, right? When we open our awareness to new thoughts and to new emotions, and we mix the thought with the emotion, when we put them together, that's what launches, mixed with your perspective, your level of consciousness, matched together, that goes out in the world, and that's when you start to see your reflection. So everything that's coming to you, like we all know about law of attraction, it's your vibration. Now identity is a really big topic, but it's all matching the way you're emotionally processing a thought, the way you're emotionally processing your thought, and the perspective, the advantage point, the level of consciousness that you're doing that with. So you can take the same emotion and the same thought and process it through one of the lower levels of consciousness, and you end up interacting more with the physical. When you take higher levels of consciousness and choose your thought and choose your emotion and choose your perspective, things come out differently. It's continually, that's your manifestation thing, right? It's why we're doing it automatically all the time. Manifestation isn't something we have to try at. It's just something that's here on the planet that's working for us, thankfully. But that's where your boundaries come from, is choosing the thought, it's choosing the emotion, and it's choosing the level of consciousness that you want to hear, that you want to see them from. The vantage point, right? We all have the ability to see things from a higher vantage point. But boundaries are an energetic quality, and they start with your own mind, they start with your own emotion, and they start with your own action. Because if you don't have that in place, how is anything else going to play with your consciousness? How is anything else going to respect your boundaries if you can't respect your own? That's where they start. That's the first action of them. And if you're looking for this, we have a free retreat going on right now where we're practicing these energetic boundaries, where we're getting in tune with our higher self, and where we're really getting to know our own energy and who we are as these energetic beings on a different level. Not, I'm an energetic being in the fact that it's something separate than the life that we live, but really bringing that part of us that says, hey, I'm more than a human. I'm something more than this. I'm connected to the divine. I'm connected to the universe. I came here to live my life full of freedom, full of laughter, full of joy. I came here to create because this planet is so. That's the energetic being that we're talking about. So we got a retreat going on. We got the link in the comments down below. If you want to join us, we would love to have you, because things are more fun when they're live, things are more fun when they're in a group, and things are more fun when we do them together. See you there.